Welcome back to Physion Dynamics. Coach Dumitru here, and I am back with another exercise that is surely going to enrich your workouts. This exercise is not unique in itself, but the position that I'm in is very unique. Most of you guys probably have not seen it before, have never tried it, and are a little bit going like, huh? What? What is he doing? Well, let me explain what I'm doing. It's essentially a single arm lat pull down. You've seen that all over. You've probably done it yourself, and it's a great exercise. Don't get me wrong. It unilaterally activates the latissimus dorsi, and it really helps give you a little bit of variation from just doing your classic traditional lat pull down with a bar. But this particular method allows you to get the lat that you're working on in a time under tension position, but you're also giving it work. You're trying to stretch it a little bit, and then you're trying to flex what's left of those fibers. Now, going into a little bit of a detail and reminding you guys of your anatomy here over for a little bit, we remembered that the origin of the lats, latissimus dorsi, is at the spinous process of the thoracic T7 to T4 vertebrae, more exactly the thoracolumbar fascia. It goes into the iliac crest, the inferior 3 or 4 ribs of your body, right? Now, from this point on, this is all the lower part, okay? Going into a little bit more detail about that, we're going up into the angle of the scapula and then insert into the floor, as they like to call it, of the intertubercular grove of the humerus. Now, that's the insertion point, and that's also important as well. Why? The positioning that I do in this video activates and gets the origin of the lats fired up, and it gets it tight. You shorten out the fibers in that area, right? So you can see me, I'm starting in a very tall position. I'm twisting horizontally towards the arm that I'm working, or towards the lat that I'm working rather. I activate my obliques, because in that point the obliques are going crazy and you have a little bit of lat activation to begin with. Now, as I crunch down, as you see me in the video, now I go crazy, especially on the fibers going into the iliac crest of the hip, right? So the lat fibers that go into the iliac crest really have to suffer in this position. Obviously the other ones as well, because of the twisting. So now you're looking at the T7, T12 fibers. In the twisting, you activate those as well, and then the crunching gets those flared up as well. But now you have almost the entire bottom part of your lats, or the origin portions of the lat, activated. So you have them fired up. From there, you're ready to do the movement. Now, notice I still pull down like a regular and normal lat pull down, and this allows me to get the usual activation of the insertion point of the lat, right into the humerus part. But notice that I don't move out of the position. I don't stretch my back. I don't let my shoulder rotate forward. I don't pull my shoulder back when I go down. Nothing happens but me moving the arm, getting it straight, allowing that stretch to happen, right? So I don't go crazy on the stretch. I allow it to happen lightly, and then I come back down for that full flex. So this allows you to really go nuts on activating those fibers top to bottom, aka insertion to origin. So you really feel the lat activate and fire up throughout the entirety of this exercise. Now, the good part about this is that as soon as you get into the position, you know if you're in the right position, because the lats are already flared up. You should already feel almost like the beginning of a cramp happening in your lats when you're in position already. You don't even have to move, right? You already feel that it's almost like a cramp, a tightness in your lower back area, right where your lats insert. So now you know that you're in the right position and you're keeping tension on those lats. Now, going in with the movement of the actual arm, this should have a very light stretch happening when you're at the top, so you shouldn't feel a stretch. And by the way, the tightness in the lower portion, in the iliac crest zone, should not go off at any point. That one needs to be engaged all the time. So don't let that one loose. Just stretch a little bit into the from the insertion fibers more towards the middle of the lat, but the origin, keep them as tight as possible. A little trick about that is I almost try to bring my hip upward, so almost arch my back a little bit to provide that extra little tension load in the iliac crest area as well. So it's a very simple exercise. It does take a little bit of time to play with the movement so you get into the right position, but that's really the most difficult part about this exercise, is just getting used to your body and knowing how to activate your body properly to get yourself in the proper position. Right? So once you're in that position, number one, I counter recommend about going too crazy heavy with the load on this exercise. So coming into pairing, like I had in my previous video with the underhand chest presses, I like to pair this exercise with either a regular lat pull down, maybe some chin-ups, some pull-ups, hammer strength pull down with both arms, because what you're looking for in this one is you're not looking to move heavy loads. You're looking to have your mind to muscle connected and flex the muscle on your own. The weight is just there to provide that extra little push to get the exercise going over the edge. So don't go too crazy heavy. If you do this exercise individually, like on its own, sorry, independently I should say, still be careful on the weight that you put, on the load that you put, because again, if you don't feel it with a lighter weight, you are not gonna feel it with a heavier weight, because with a heavier weight, you're gonna have to focus on really muscling through. Your bicep is gonna kick in, especially in this position. Your shoulder is gonna go nuts, and you are going to lose the whole idea of why you're in that position with the lat. Okay, so sometimes you got to keep in mind that when you're flexing a muscle, you activate the fibers, a larger percentage rather of a fiber when flexing than when you're just doing an exercise, right? So that's why when you're posing, if you've seen bodybuilders on stage pose, when they're flexing like a double bicep or a side chest pose and things like that, flexing the muscle in these kinds of position, you get more of that fiber activated than you do when you actually pull a weight, when you actually pull a heavy weight. So that's what we're trying to act on here. You're trying to get the muscle flexed and focus on it to stay activated from top to bottom. Now you give it that extra little weight to move so you can really, for lack of a better word, piss it off. So this is the idea behind this exercise. So I do it both ways for myself and when I'm with a client, because I can monitor them, I can walk them through the process of actually staying activated with the muscle. If you're doing it by yourself for the first time, I highly recommend you being very careful on the load, and you do pair it with a main powerhouse exercise. Lat pull down, chin ups, rows I try to say not really, because I will be posting another video where there's a different version of doing the rows with the same idea, so I wouldn't pair this single arm lat pull down with a rowing exercise. I would hold off on that, but with anything that you pull from the top to the bottom, you can definitely pair it with. Any red flags on this one, you always have to be careful. You are twisting your spine, so do make sure that you don't have anything like herniated disc or any pulled muscles in your back, because this kind of a twisting and load bearing is just going to make it worse. So do be careful that your back is nice and healthy, your spine is nice and healthy. Also your shoulder, just like with any lat exercise, lat pull down rather exercise, the shoulder will be involved. It will have a range of motion, and you will require to tax that shoulder to move the weight. So shoulder, elbow, they need to be in good condition, so that they don't give you any kind of problems during the exercise. And of course, when it comes lastly to the wrist, at the bottom you only pull as low as you need to, but to keep the wrist straight. If you pulling more and your wrist starts to curl with the handle, at this point you have forgotten that you're just using the lats. You're starting to activate the flexor, you're starting to activate the bicep too much, you're pulling too far, you're off in the field with it. So the wrist always has to stay straight from the top to the bottom. When you end, the wrist is always straight. And of course, don't move your body during this exercise. That's the point of it. You get into position, you do your 10, 15, 20 repetitions, whatever, and you keep your body in that position to get that time under tension idea from your muscle. But other than that, it's a very straightforward exercise, guys. I would love it if you guys would give it a shot. If you haven't tried it before, give it a shot. Let me know how it works for you. Let me know if you were able to feel and get that mind to muscle connection throughout the exercise, and let me know if you've discovered any kind of pains, of unusual pains, things that you've never felt before, or maybe not necessarily quote unquote, as I say, bad pains, but you probably felt a different part of your body activate, which in some cases may be good, but in some cases may just result by you being tight in a particular area of the body. So that needs to be addressed a little bit differently. But I'll be more than happy to answer your comments, guys. If you want to drop any questions below the video, I'll always be here to answer your question. I'll get back to them as soon as possible. But all in all, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, please don't forget to like and subscribe to these videos. We'll be posting more and more, and we're gonna get all of these weird, crazy, and unusual looking exercises out to you guys, so that we can enrich your workout in every way possible. My name is Coach Dumitru from Physion Dynamics. Thank you so much for joining. Stay fit, stay healthy, guys. I'll catch you on the next video.